What's going on?
What's going on? What's going
Everybody?
on?
It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. What's going on, Casino?
Just trying to get through the day, man. Yesterday was a great day. The wife was home. She's being a teacher. She was home for Veterans Day. I literally had her. I texted her a list of priorities that are going to get done in the house today. We didn't get anything done outside, but the house looks immaculate. Literally, it is amazing. I mean, bathrooms, floors, kids' rooms, kitchen, everything. Like everything was taken care of. The only thing I guess that was inside that didn't get done was wiping baseboards and door jambs, just because the kids' sticky fingers and things. Right, right next to me where Colby, he has this high chair. He rarely uses it. It's really strictly just a yogurt high chair now because a little too short in the regular chair. So like when he dips his spoon in, like it gets everywhere when he tries to lift it up. So this is the yogurt chair. And right next to that, the wall is kind of covered in yogurt or pizza stains and yeah, I get to it like once a week, and it right now that was the one thing I was just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You?
That's the thing. Well, that's the thing. If we did not have dogs or kids, my house would be immaculate. Like
I
immaculate.
already used that word.
I know, but it would be more immaculate. It would be mondo-immaculate, and it would but it's these damn kids and these damn dogs that make it so messy.
Yeah,
But
I took the vacuum, and I was just like, Brittany, grab the dog, and she was like, "What?" And we have little dogs, and we didn't, but yeah, I wouldn't have done that. That would have scared him half to death or to death. But I was just like, yeah, no. I wish I could just take that vacuum to him. And we brush him. He gets groomed. Like he goes to the groomers, all those things. But he just sheds so much. This little Papillon Chihuahua
Papillon.
Terrier.
That's a
Yeah.
good word. But we are
Papillon's great.
not here today to talk about dogs or how clean our houses are
You
on
asked.
the casino.
You
Yeah.
asked every episode.
We are here to talk about week 11
And
in
how the
the
Patriots
NFL.
are going to be the number one seed in the AFC. Yes, I keep cutting you off, but I don't
I
care.
know. Let's start with that game, Casino, because as always, when we do these kind of things, we start with the ugly games, then we go to the mid games, then we go to the good games. This week has some great games, some of the best games of the season. But right now, oh no, I don't have it. It's still loading. Right now, let's go to the ugly, and it just went right there. Live, folks.
You know
It's
what's
live.
crazy is I'm looking right here. I have the odds up right now. Kansas City has the best odds to win the Super Bowl at plus 500.
Yeah. How would they
I
not?
don't I don't understand that. Like if you want to throw them in the top 10, fine, but it's KC at plus 500 and then the Rams and Philly tied at 7, and then you got Detroit, Seattle at 8, Buffalo at 9, Indy at 1,000, Green Bay at 12, then Baltimore, Denver, New England Chargers. Like teams that you would expect. And how is Kansas City should be somewhere in between Green Bay and Baltimore right now.
Well, I don't. Again, before last week with Drake May, it was like Patrick Mahomes was the MVP frontrunner. It was like, how?
And it's crazy because
How?
Drake May didn't even have his best game. That was his second game this year where he had a QBR under 100. Like,
Well, but that was also, what is it, the week after Mahomes had maybe the worst game of his career
that's
against the
true.
Bills. So there's no way they can keep number one after that. But also, again, Chiefs are 5-4 in their division right now, third in their own division behind the Chargers and Broncos. We'll talk about that game, one of the three best games
Sorry, yeah.
coming
As
up.
you were doing that, I just look over at these odds and I'm like, there's
Yeah, they make no
how?
sense.
How?
As we
They're
discussed,
5-4 and they might be 5-5 after this week.
as we discussed on Monday's episode, where we said, are the New England Patriots the best team in the league? I think we both came to the reasoning of no, but they're definitely in contention. They're in
Up there.
contention.
They're up there. And it's because they took down Buffalo and they took down Tampa on the road in both. That's great. And then they are putting points up against the best defenses in the league. That's they're up there. They're doing the good things, right? But there's just no way that you can say they're the best team in the league. The best team in the league by far is the Rams, and then right after that is Philly. So and then you get into the debate of this, that, or whatever. It's definitely not Kansas City. Kansas City, good. Yes, they are making a comeback, but they're not the best team in the league. Um,
No. So we have a lot of people watching us right now. So let us know the question right now while we talk about
ugh,
this game is, are the Patriots the best team in the league? And if you think they
definitely not.
are, if you think they aren't, who do you think is? But let's dive into the ugly games of this week. No
Let's
uglier
go.
game than a
Oh, did you put the
Thursday night
where's the
game.
graphic? Where's that graphic?
I literally already put it
Oh,
up while you
sorry, I
were
was on the odds.
rambling. Yeah. The good, the mid, and the ugly.
There it
First
is.
game up.
I like
We are
seeing it. I was
we are
waiting for the
talking.
sound.
I know. I didn't. I had it on mute. We have the 8-2 Patriots at home against the 2-7 AFC division rival New York Jets. Who you got in that one, Casino?
I am rolling with my Pats. They are hit open where they were 10.5 favorites. Guess where it's at right now?
12 and a half.
13.5.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So
and
it's going up.
I was a little worried. Yes, these are the Thursday night football games that have been weird all season. We've seen
Mhm.
upsets on Thursday night. We've seen weird, slow barn burner games, right? But I have to stick with New England on this one. I was really worried when they got banged up last game, right, against the Bucs, and I thought, okay, this is not going to bode well going on a short week. I know you're still at home, you don't have to travel while you're injured, but that's still not good. But during the week, a lot of players were back in participation. A lot of them that even missed the Bucs game, so that's positive. And so, with getting players back that were injured 2 weeks ago, I'm feeling pretty positive about or longer. So I have to go with the Patriots against the Jets. The Jets are just bad, bad. I know that they had a strong showing against the Broncos there, but I just can't. I can't say the Jets are going to do anything.
Now, again, Jets right now, defensively, they are 19th in the league. So they have in total defense. So their defensive front, their defensive rankings has kind of skyrocketed because they were bottom five a couple weeks ago. But again, that's not much of an improvement to go from one of the worst defenses in the league to one of the top, what, 15 12 to 15 worst defenses in the league, especially when the last couple weeks they've played the Panthers, the Bengals, the Browns.
Oh, oh, your
Again,
mic's out. Your mic's out that whole time. Sorry, I stepped away.
no, it wasn't. Uh,
Oh no, you're good. Sorry.
yeah.
What happened? I hit my trigger on my headset when I had to go and get the dog. I apologize, everybody.
As far as the Patriots go, we were waiting for their Girl Scout cookie schedule to actually have a contender on it. And then last week it did against the Buccaneers. They won against the Bucs, and now I feel like everyone who is hesitant to be like the Patriots are one of the best, if not the best team in the league, finally put that like schedule to the side and said, oh, now they're beating good teams the same way they're beating the bad teams, which is in kind of dominant performances. It doesn't look like that on paper, but when you watch the games, it felt like the Bucs were playing catch up that entire game. Even with a great Baker game, it never felt like the Bucs really had a chance to legitimately win that game. So, all that being said, we're talking way too much about a game that is a lock for this week.
Well, we're not just talking about that. We're also kind of talking about the future, right? We're of what's going to happen in the AFC. And I really do think the Patriots, it's not a lock, but they have a road to win the number one seed, which is just mind blowing.
Yeah. Is it 2004 again? Because it's going to be a race between the Colts and the Patriots for the number one seed. This time, however, the quarterbacks are Drake May and Daniel Jones, which is really funny. Just a slight drop off
And
from
and
Tom
and
Brady
let's
and Peyton
let's just say
Manning.
if Bo Nix is able to beat the Chiefs, right? You have Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, and Drake May all fighting out for the number one seed, which it
Yeah.
would, and it's not Josh Allen, it's not Lamar Jackson, it is not Patrick Mahomes. That
No.
would just be, oh, Just
That would
bliss.
be like that one year where the playoffs, if you remember correctly, it was remember the NFC Championship game was Nick Foles and Case Keenum, and then the AFC Championship game was Blake Bortles and Tom Brady, and it was just like it,
Bortles.
yeah, that was literally at the peak and prime of like some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and that then three of the four are guys who never did anything after that year.
Bortles.
But let's move on
Moving
to
on.
another ugly game. We're both going the Patriots in that one. The next ugly game we have is the last early overseas game of the
Blech.
season. It takes place in Madrid. What a way to go out. Washington Commanders 3-7, Miami Dolphins 3-7. Who you got, Casino?
I'm going to have to go with the Miami Dolphins in this one. I just can't trust the Commanders. They have been banged up. They're already the oldest team in the league, and then they get more injuries on top of that. I can't go with them. Miami, they're on their high right after beating the Bills. I think that was a really fluke game. Josh Allen did not play well, but the Dolphins got it done. They were able to score points in kind of every facet of the game. So I have to go with Miami on this one. I know it's overseas, but I mean, how can you not? How can you go with the Commanders with the banged up season they have? They just don't. They looks like they want to be there, but they can't be there. They're not there. They can't play.
Yeah, I it's with the Brian Dayball firing, I wonder if that has kind of opened the floodgate for all these other teams to be like, we're past the midseason. We know we're not bringing this guy back next year. Like, let's just get rid of him. Let's say, especially against this Commanders team that right now is 30th in the league in defense with a defensive coordinator at the head coach, 18th in the league in total offense. Obviously, that's due to the fact that Jaden Daniels has missed pretty much half the season at this point.
Yeah,
But let's say on the Dolphins, like you said, they're coming off that big win against Buffalo. They destroyed the Falcons 2 weeks ago, then got destroyed by the Ravens. What if they just get blown out in a game where they should clearly win? Do you think that Monday morning it's finally time to end the Mike McDaniels, saga in?
oh, 100%. If they lose to the Commanders on this one, I don't care that it's an overseas game. You got to get rid of him. You got to get
Yeah.
rid of him, or you've already got to have in place the next guy, like in your mind, or maybe they're waiting for to see who gets fired from other jobs or gets moved around. But
Yeah.
this is McDaniel's last year in Miami, whether it's a firing on Monday or Tuesday, or is it going to be end of season? I could
Yeah.
not see him being brought back.
No, I think he's either fired probably after this game if it's a loss, or they probably just wait till the end of the season. But there's no way he suits up next year. Who
Yeah.
also knows if Tua starts next
I
year?
was
Probably
literally
just
about to say, wait for this team. Every other team is going to be looking at all their pieces that Miami has and be like, okay, this team's about to explode. Let's see what we can grab on the chopping block. Let's go.
Yeah, it felt weird that they were not a seller at the trade deadline outside of Jalen Phillips, who went over to the Eagles and then immediately was just like the best defensive lineman the Eagles have outside of Carter. So
Oh yeah.
again, to sell some guy like that for so low, I can't believe Waddle wasn't on the chopping block.
Well, there
Nobody
was
called him
talks
a
about
not
Waddle.
chain.
There was talks about Waddle. There was offering on the table for Waddle for multiple teams, from what I heard.
Hmm.
So
And they kept him. So I don't know. But you and I both think, even though Miami's a dumpster fire this year, we both think it's going to be,
yeah,
what is it? Them
Dolphins.
winning in Spain. Next up, let's see, going to the
Spania.
ugly games. Nothing uglier than this, especially after that performance Monday night. 5-3-1 Green Bay Packers at 2-8 Giants. They fired Brian Dayball. They will be starting Jameis Winston of all
Let's
people.
go.
So who you got in this one, Casino?
I want to cheer for Jameis Winston. I want to because I'm just not a Packer guy, right? Never have been. I love the place in town that is a Packers bar, but I can't go against them right now. The Giants are in shambles. And you know what? Yeah, they fired Brian Daboll, and I feel bad for him because he did have that one good season, right? He was the coach for almost 3 seasons now. He had that great season, and then after that, what do they do? Oh, let's get rid of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, let's get rid of Daniels or Daniel Jones. Okay. Well, guess what? You are getting rid of all of his pieces. Of course, those are the best players. Look at Daniel Jones and what he's doing over in Indy. Look what Saquon did. He went and won a Super Bowl and he almost won the MVP and almost broke the rushing record. I don't think that that was a coach's here. Do I like Dayball? No, I'm not a big Dayball fan, but that comes from the higher up. Those are the people that are making those decisions that are screwing over their coach. So
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the Giants and Giants fans. Not really because they're the fucking Giants, but you know, but I have to go Packers on this one, and they're just going to look horrible at 6-3-1.
Yeah, especially after that Monday night game, I think the concerns are what is going on with Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and this Packers offense
It's
because this
digressed
Packers.
every week for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah, and again, some of the calls on Monday night are just again, coaching, quarterback, a combination of the two where you're just like, how are you running this? I mean, there's that clip now that went viral where the lineman on the Eagles literally calls out their fourth down play. Jordan Love hears it and it's so loud. How could he not hear it? Instead of audibling or changing the call or doing a timeout to potentially win the game, they don't get that first down. They lose the game. He just snaps the ball, runs the play. Eagles blow it up in the backfield for like a 5-yard loss. If that's the level of play you're getting from your quarterback, this is the same issue everybody has with trying to say Seattle's the best team in the league. We haven't seen a Jordan Love led team where we've seen him have great games throughout every game of the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl. Same with Darnold. So, with all these big powerhouse teams, Packers are one of them. After that Micah Parsons trade, the first month of the season, they were the Super Bowl favorites. So at this
So,
point, yeah, at this point, what's their signature win? What do they do well? Can you really trust
right.
Jordan Love to lead this team to the Super Bowl? I don't think so. And the Giants, yeah, they got hurt with a lot of injuries, but again, firing Dayball, he's went 2-7 every year for the past 3 years. It's not like people being like, oh, well, what are you going to do? We see what the 49ers are doing. We saw what the Lions did last year. We see all these teams every year lose a bunch of their guys to injuries and still somehow find a way to win. So again, Dayball, I think he should have got fired because he's a perennial loser. But what is it? The Packers, again, they need this win as a big bounce back win in New York. They need to destroy the Giants for anybody to just not write them off. So I'm going Packers potential blowout, but it's not my pick for blowout of the week. Next up, to continue our ugly games, nothing uglier than an early morning AFC South game, Casino, and that is the perfect example is 4-5 Texans with Davis Mills against 1-8 Tennessee Titans. Who in the blue hell is going to watch this game? Who?
Not me.
Yeah.
I might turn off Red Zone when they try to turn it on. Yeah, I had no way. This is gonna be a bad game. This could be potentially blowout of the week, but I still Houston's 4-5 for a reason. The Titans, I feel bad for Cam Ward, dude. I do. I
Yeah, he's got
really do.
nothing.
He's
He's
got
got
nothing.
nothing.
But there is hope, right? So it's like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, like having good and successful careers elsewhere, after being a top draft pick or the top draft pick. So I'm hopeful for him just for his future, but Tennessee's not it. Houston's gonna roll him.
Yeah, I think even with Davis Mills, again, he looked really good last week against a Jaguars team that, by all accounts, should have won that game. Davis Mills led the comeback in that one, ended the game with some pretty good stats. So after that huge win, I don't see how they go into Tennessee and just lay an egg. So I'm going Texans. Maybe if this was CJ Stroud, I'd be going blowout of the week, even though I do like, excuse me, what I saw from Davis Mills. I'm picking the
Put him
Texans.
on 5 other teams right now as a starter. I would take
I,
him.
I agree. Next up, last, I think,
Potentially?
no, We got two of our two last ugly games, Casino. Oh no, I forgot about Monday night.
3.
Three ugly games.
It's
Let's
it's either
actually
pretty
talk
much just
Monday night.
it's just ugly games and then pretty much good games. That's it.
Yeah. 3-5-1 Dallas Cowboys at 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders. It's Monday night football. What a dud.
And
Uh
in our TikToks, we said we were gonna do it, and we are going to do it. That I was just like, "Let's flip a coin." We didn't flip the coin. You just said, "I guess I'll take Cowboys." I said, "I guess I'll take Raiders," and
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
make it spicy. And also, this is the part where we update after Monday night's football's game. Casino picked Eagles. I picked Packers in
Football's
reverse jinx.
game.
Football's game. It worked to perfection, my reverse jinx. Casino is winning 82-81. So one game difference separates us going into week 11. This, who knows, it could come down to Monday night football again
This week, I feel like
because
we got a lot different. We'll have a lot different going forward.
I do too, just based on the TikToks we did. Yeah. But you're going Raiders. I'm going Cowboys. This was kind of a pick 'em. I just think Raiders, if it's a shootout, they can't match what the Cowboys can do. And if it's a defensive battle, I don't trust either of these defenses. So
Mhm.
I'll just go with kind of the hot hand, even though the Cowboys before their bye week lost to the Cardinals. So who I and then they got blown out by the Broncos. And
Mhm.
but the Raiders, the last 3 games, they've got blown out by the Chiefs, lost by 1 point to the Jaguars, and then had one of the worst Thursday night games, maybe games of the season last Thursday night. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that was bad.
I'm going Cowboys. Geno Smith will probably throw 2 interceptions. One of them will be backbreaking and just cost him the game. So I'm going Broncos. I'm going Cowboys, but I have no faith. The Raiders are only ahead of the Titans in terms of points per game. They are scoring 15 points a game. They're struggling to
That's
score
good.
2
That's 15
touchdowns.
points more than 0.
That I mean, you've always been a glass half full kind of guy.
No,
Let's
I
move.
haven't.
No,
I
you're the
am none.
opposite.
I'm
You're
100% the opposite.
yeah. Which one's good? The good one is glass half full. Or is
Yes.
okay, then yeah, you're a glass half you've always been a glass half empty guy. I
Yeah.
fluctuate.
I'm a
I
Debbie Downer.
I fluctuate, depending on the years. Let's go to our last 2 ugly games.
Okay, bipolar.
I mean, yeah. 6-4 San Francisco 49ers at 3-6 Arizona Cardinals. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Who you got in this one, Casino?
I I can't trust the Cardinals. I mean, I like Jacoby Brissett. I do. As a person, I think he's a good backup quarterback, but not on the Cardinals. The Cardinals are so bad. This team is god awful. Kyler Murray is faking an injury so he can go play COD. Um, I'm going Mac Jones on this one. Uh, it gets to the point where yes, the Niners have been beat up, right? They're starting to get some players back, but you can't. How can you go against them, right? Just how
Yeah.
can you go against them after just week and week and week in and out? Where that's what I was looking for. Week in, week out. That's what I was looking for. Um, uh, they're getting it done somehow. 6-4. They should be lucky to have that record right now.
Yeah, I just don't think what is it when it comes to the Cardinals again, all offseason we were told what a good coach Gannon was and how this Cardinals team is going to shock some people. They have definitely shocked some people because they're 3-6 and they don't have one loss outside of the Seahawks last week where any of those losses are more than one score.
Yeah, but
So
the
I believe
Niners are only -2.5.
yeah. So again, this game's in Arizona. It is a divisional game, which means it's going to be a lot closer than people think going into it. But I just think the 49ers are going to run circles around this Cardinals team. Again, I think Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback right now than Kyler Murray, but I just don't think the Cardinals defense is good. I don't think their offense has enough weapons on it. I don't like their running game at all. It wouldn't shock me if they were last in the league in rushing. Let's see. They are now they're 18th in the league in rushing, so much better than I thought they would be. But yeah, I just think again, 49ers somehow are going to be 7-4 and also 7-4 and third in their own division. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. But yeah, we're both going 49ers. Last ugly game,
Ravens Browns.
casino. No, I was actually going to say this is the bridge to the mid games, and
Okay,
that's 5-5 Carolina Panthers at 3-6 Falcons. I think it's just ugly enough, just mid enough where it can kind of be the bridge to mid.
fair enough. That's
Who you
fair.
going? Who you going in this one?
See, this is where we're going to start to differ a little bit. I know the Panthers are 5-5, but the Falcons are streaky, right? They've played some pretty good games of the last couple weeks. I know that they haven't been successful in that trend the whole time, but I've got to go with the Falcons in this one. I just can't see Carolina getting it figured out. I just can't.
Yeah, I see. I'm going with my heart because I picked the Panthers to be a sleeper team this year, and already at 5-5 past midseason, I think it's a win for
Yeah, and I
my
would take that
pick.
as a win for you.
Yeah, and also again, Tampa Bay loses this week in a game against the Bills. We're going to talk about, and the Panthers win this game. They're now a half a game back behind the Bucs in that division, which is crazy
Which is
because
crazy.
we look at the Bucs as one of the best teams in the NFC, and the Panthers is just this 5-5. How are they 5-5 team?
Yeah,
But
I'd probably
again,
put Bucks sitting at at fifth in the NFC.
yeah, you would put Panthers probably what 15th.
Yeah.
Like, so, but again, if after this week they could potentially be a half a game behind them. Panthers defense, again, 16th in the league. Their offense has struggled, especially when Bryce Young is in or out. I don't know if he's a good quarterback or not. I just know that when he's in, the offense looks better than when he's not in. They're 27th in the league. So again, how they're 5-5, I don't know, but I think they go into Atlanta and stop a Falcons team that, like you said, is not only streaky, but has played some of the worst games we've seen a team play all season. So I'm going with the Panthers. They're going to be 6-5 after this week. And no one will understand why, myself included. And Bob's your uncle. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next game, Casino. 4-5 Ravens at 2-7 Browns. I'm putting this in mid just because that Browns defense is really good. Lamar Jackson is back. I want to see how he does against an elite defense. Ravens defense has turned the tide. Who you got in this one?
And that right there is why I am going to pick the Ravens and as my blowout of the week. Because
Ooh.
that Ravens defense has gotten better. It's not great, right? But it's gotten better. And this Cleveland Browns team, I mean, Gabriel, I would still pick him over Shador, right? Or maybe you need to start, working that out, right? But I am going with the Ravens. That defense got a little better. That Browns' offense is going to have trouble moving the ball. And the Ravens, this is their season, right? They win this, Steelers lose, they're right there, dude. Like even if the
Yeah.
Steelers win, they're right there, but they would be tied with the division going into week 12, right?
Yep.
So that would be insane. I think the Ravens, they said it when they, had the one win, they were like, "Oh, we still see a path to the playoffs. We can figure this out. That's why we're not going to put anybody on the trading block." And by golly gee, they have figured it out. And Lamar Jackson, whatever they did, that little time away that he had, figured it out. This is my blowout of the week. Baltimore rolls. Let's go.
Well, not only is this a must-win game for the obvious reason for the Ravens, but the last we have 2, 4, 6. We have 8 games left. 5 of them for the Ravens are in division. So 5 of their last 8 games are all in division. They haven't played this season. They have not played the Steelers or the Bengals once yet, which is crazy. Why would they schedule it like that? But the next, what is it,
Drama.
month of the season, we have Browns, Ravens. Ravens killed the Browns the first time. They should do it again. Then they play the Jets. Then it's Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So after 2 weeks from now, every game is going to be against Bengals, who are, a team that, again, you can't just
They look
thumb
better
your
with
nose at.
Flacco.
Yeah, their offense looks elite with Flacco. Their defense has improved a little bit. And again, Ravens defense is better, but it's still at this point 26th in the league. So they still are going to have some prove it games against that
Definitely.
Bengals offense, that Packers offense, your Patriots, Aaron Rodgers. Like, this is the make right, get right game these next 2 weeks, because then it's basically
Yeah.
win or go home with all divisional
They have
games.
to go into that, those final stretch of games 6-4, or 6-5,
Yeah.
and they just have to.
Well, and then looking at Pittsburgh right now, who has a game ahead of them, 2 games if they win this week and Ravens somehow lose. Like, they have played the Steelers twice. So the last month and a half of the season, the Ravens are going to be allowed to have maybe one more loss to avoid losing that division. So
Yeah.
Ravens pretty much need to win out to win the Super Bowl, which is kind of not a good position to be in, but I guess it gives them motivation. Next up, Casino, our next mid game. You know what? Perfect mid game. Chargers 7-3 at 5-4. Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got in this one?
It's gonna be good. I want to choose Jacksonville. I want to. I want them to get another win, and I want the Chiefs to lose so they could go back to how the way things were, where the Chiefs are on the outside looking in. But that would also hurt because the Chargers need to keep up ahead of the Chiefs. um, I'm going with the Chargers on this one. I know their offensive line is atrocious, and the fact that Justin Herbert is still able to get the ball out and move the ball and score points is mind blowing, boggling. One would say, like, put it in a fucking bottle. Wait, right? You get the reference.
I do.
Anyway, so yeah, I got to go with the Chargers in this one. I really hope it is the Jaguars, and if you pick the Jags, I would be okay with that because then at least something happy comes out of this. But I'm going to go with the Chargers.
No, I've been a Chiefs are somehow going to make the playoffs in the Super Bowl truther for about 3 weeks now. And this game is not the one that gives me any hope the Jaguars will somehow take that last playoff spot away from the Chiefs, especially when they were blowing out the Texans last week and then gave up 22 points in the fourth quarter to lose that game. That dashed all hopes, I think, of a Jaguars taking the last spot in the playoffs. Not that I want to see the Jaguars in the playoffs. I just don't want to see the Chiefs. That was the end to their playoff hopes right there. This will be the nail in the coffin. Chargers are going to kill them. I don't think it'll be a blowout because I just don't think the Chargers have enough to blow out this Jacksonville team, but
No,
I do think it'll be an ugly game. So I'm going Chargers. I think they just run the ball down the Jaguars' throat, and the Jaguars are like, damn, we should have won last week. So Chargers all day for both of us. Next mid casino, Chicago Bears 6-3 against 4-5 Minnesota
the
Vikings.
Bears.
Who you got?
I've got to go with Chicago. I'm picking Chicago because I can't trust the Vikings to do anything. Like, I know the record is 4-5. I know they've won some games. They are favored in this game. Um, but I have to, and it opened at 2.5 in favor of the Vikings. It's actually 3.5 now. So the bettors are going with that. But I have to pick the Bears. They're able, yes, they're squeaking out their wins, but they are getting it done. Right? Caleb Williams seems like a quarterback that can be taught, and I'm not trying to, knock him at all. I say that a lot about him, but um, he's not getting sacked like he did last year, right? You got the new coach coming in. They weren't so on par with each other, to start the season, but as things gone on, whether it's Caleb, starting to figure out the structured offensive and very intricate offense of Ben Johnson, or if Ben Johnson is kind of making plays and letting it to where if Caleb does want to ad lib, which he likes to do, he can do so. So whatever they're starting to figure it out. And yes, that's not a long term, recipe for success. It's working now in the interim, and I've got to stick with the Bears on this.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think
I know you
again,
do.
I like what I've seen from JJ McCarthy on the Vikings side. But that being said, I like more of what I've seen from Caleb Williams, especially in that come from behind, lead his team to victory game he had against the Giants last week. Then we saw a Bengals game he had 2 weeks ago where he wins in a shootout against, again, one of the most underrated and potent offenses in the league. Vikings, again, Bears are 6-3 at the top of their division, but what separates the top and the bottom in the NFC North is 2 games. After this game, it could potentially be 3 because it's Bears at the top, Vikings at the bottom. But I would not be shocked if Vikings win in their stadium, just in like a hard fought like 2017 game that is just a struggle for both teams to put up
So you going
points.
with them?
I You know what? Let's make it spicy. I'm going upset pick of the week. I'm going Vikings. I think they win 2017. I might have just gave you a free point, but it's not like I'm super sold on the Bears. I just think what Caleb Williams has done the past couple weeks has given me hope that maybe the Bears have found a quarterback. My whole family's from Chicago, so I've always had a soft spot for like Chicago sports. Not
Same
enough.
here. Yeah, one of my
Yeah.
one of my best friends growing up, actually, you don't even know who he is. His family best friend. Yeah, they're from Chicago, and his dad, who helped pretty much raise me, right? One of my best friend's dads. How that works, and yeah, diehard Chicago fan. So that's why I've always, outside of the place I like to go and eat here in town, fuck the Packers, go Chicago.
But yeah, and then people are going, "Oh, well, if your family's from Chicago, how are you a Eagles fan and like a Philadelphia sports fan?" My family's from Chicago. Nobody outside of one of my uncles was ever into sports. So sports was just not a thing that was ever around. My dad almost played professional baseball, but he almost played it for the Cardinals. So they're like the sworn enemies of the Cubs. And it just was never, I don't know, sports was just never around. I kind of just found it on my own and then was like, oh, I like the Eagles. And then when I was like getting into basketball, I was like, who also plays where the Eagles play? Then that's how I became Sixers and then just kind of spiraled from there. Because again, when we grew up in Vegas, not like now, Vegas had no sports teams and
Yeah,
everybody was like, are you crazy? Vegas is
you
never going to have a sports team for
Yeah,
the
and
gambling.
you have to be fans of a California team, or you have to be fans of a Texas team. And what
Yeah.
that did for both you and I, which just was
Make
fuck
us
all
hate
of
them.
those teams.
Yeah. Yeah, now we just collect
100%.
I don't
Yeah.
collectively hate California teams. I hate most of them,
Oh, I hate
but
them
yeah,
all.
all Texas teams.
I mean,
Also
I
all
forget that the
Texas teams, all
Sacramento
New York
Kings
teams.
exist.
Ugh. No, see, in basketball, I do like the Golden State Warriors. When they were going on their run, they were fun to watch. I do really like Steph Curry. And
Yeah.
then in college, I've always liked UCLA. That's
I
kind of
could
my
I mean, the only team out of any professional sport out of California that I could say that I enjoyed was the Padres, and that was until they got Manny Machado, who's one of the dirtiest players in all of baseball. He ended Pedroia's career. Fuck that guy, and I will never cheer for the Padres ever again.
Yeah. And you've always hated that guy.
Oh,
That's
I've hated
been
him forever.
yeah, that's been your number one. If I had to like prove that you're a casino, I would just say that guy's name. And if I just saw rage on your face, I would know it was you. But that was a long way of saying I'm picking the Vikings in an upset. I do think the Bears are the better team, but again, NFC North game, it's going to be
What
at
a lame
home.
upset pick.
It's going to be
Boo.
close. What's the line in this one?
-2.
Oh,
Well,
see that.
now it's -3, I guess, but still
Damn.
boo.
Wow, what an upset pick by me. But if it happens,
No, Minnesota is favored.
oh, oh, then I'm just going the Bears. There's no
Yeah.
fun. It's not an upset. All right, then I'm going Bears. Forget everything I just said. We're
Yeah.
both going Bears. That's not an upset. Okay, casino. Now we
No, you
are
said you're going Vikings, I'm going Bears.
yeah, so you want that to be your upset pick of the week?
No, I got a better upset.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, well, then we're both just going Bears. I went Bears on the TikTok. I was only going Vikings for the upset to make it different. If it's not an upset pick, I have no faith in this Vikings team. I have no faith in the Bears, but I went Bears to begin with. It's Bears. We're both going Bears. Now we are finally in the good, and there are 4 of just the best games of the season all on this week. And luckily, They are all spaced out except
Wait,
the
hold on. Did we talk? We didn't talk Steelers Bengals, did we?
I thought we did talk Steelers Bengals. Did we not? Wait, Steelers Bengals. Oh, no, that one is just okay. You know what? That actually can be our last mid game.
Yeah.
That's right. The mid. We've talked so much about the Bengals that I thought we talked about that
I
game.
was gonna say, because I've been looking at it. Like, this is my upset pick of the week. I'm going the Cincinnati Bengals. Pitt's
Ooh.
laying 5.5. So I mean, good for the Steelers. I know this is tough, but I've liked what the Bengals have done. I if they had Joe Burrow, I would have this would be a no-brainer. But I am definitely gonna go with the Bengals and Joe Flacco. He's putting up the numbers. Joe Flacco already beat the Steelers, put up about 350 yards, just shy 3 touchdowns, and he was throwing the ball. He threw the ball for like 47 times, and he made like 31 completions. Like I'm going this. I know that was in Cincy, and this is in Pittsburgh, which is one of the hardest places to play. Rally Tylenol, and but I just the Pittsburgh Steelers. We thought they were it, but they are not. They are just not. They are what they are, and they're going to be that 500 team after this week. I'm going Bengals as my upset.
That's a good upset pick. And you know what? I will pick the Vikings. Why not? I don't feel strongly about either team. So just to make our picks
So you
different,
got to pick a
I'm going
pick a
Vikings.
different upset then.
Yes, it's not my upset pick, but I still am going the Vikings. And also different from you, I am going the Steelers in this game. It's at home, it's in Pittsburgh, it's Aaron Rodgers. It
Keep
has
going.
to be well, no, it has to be his kind of makeup for what we saw the last time we saw the Steelers play on Monday night against the Chargers, where he had one of the worst games of the season, maybe one of the worst games he's had in what a couple years. Like that was bad, very un-Rodgers like. He
And
had
then
only 51% completion percentage, two interceptions. That just was a very not Rodgers game.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh,
You're
okay.
fair.
Steelers defense, I don't love, but I like it more than the Bengals defense. And again, I do think if this game just becomes a shootout, the Pittsburgh Steelers can hang. And we've seen them win games this season in shootouts. So I don't think the Bengals have enough on defense to make a stop. I don't think the Steelers defense is much better, but I think these offenses are, shockingly similar, especially with two of the oldest guys, if not the two oldest guys, leading at quarterback for both these teams. So I'm going with the Steelers. They're very similar on paper to this Bengals team, but with one exception being they sack the quarterback almost 20 sacks more than the Bengals do. So I think they're going to be able to put pressure on Joe Flacco, maybe make him make a mistake, throw maybe his first interception as a Bengals. So Steelers in a close one, whether that close one is a defensive battle or a shootout, I still think it's going to be close. Now, Casino, we move into the four best games of the entire season, all on one Sunday. The
Sunday,
only
Sunday, Sunday.
two times these two teams play against each other, or these two matchups play against each other, is in the middle of the day, because one we have as a Sunday night game, one we have as an early morning game, and then we have the two afternoon games. So let's just go in order. At 10 a.m., we have six and
Pacific time.
three. Yeah. 6-3 Tampa Bay Bucks at 6-3 Buffalo Bills. Who you got, Casino?
So the Buffalo Bills are favored at -5.5, and I like that. That's what I'm sticking with. I'm going with the Bills on this one. I know their defense has been a bit shaky, but the weapons for the Bucks, outside of Ibuka, they really don't have anything. So I mean, yes, the Patriots game looked a lot closer than what it should have been. The Patriots handled them all game, um, and I just think that the Bills can just they got to have a bounce back game, right? That was one of Josh Allen's worst games of his career, if not his worst game. He will bounce back. Both of these teams have to win, but I think Tampa going up into Buffalo. If it was Buffalo going down into Tampa, reverse it. I would go Tampa. But going up into cold Buffalo, I don't think the Bucs are going to be able to handle this. And Baker's just been kind of not falling off a cliff, but he's been digressing. out of that MVP talk, right? And I really think that the Bills are just going to put it to them. High
Yeah,
scoring game.
I just don't like anything I've seen from this Bills team for
No, it's totally fine.
I don't know. Maybe since that Falcons loss on Monday night where it was just weird. And then they had the bye week, came out of the bye, blew out the Panthers, and then it was like, okay, maybe the Bills are back. And then again, they give Mahomes the worst quarterback rating, the worst game Mahomes has had since maybe college, right? Take out the two Super Bowls. I'm talking regular season game. He maybe has the worst game of his professional career. And that game is still a 7-point game with Mahomes driving to win it.
That
And
happens. It happens.
well, but then they get blown out by the Dolphins. So in the past month, they've had one blowout. They've got blown out. They lost a 10-point game and then they won a game by 7 points. They probably should have won by 2 touchdowns. So this Bills team feels like the Packers, it feels like the Bucs, it feels like the Falcons, which is just I don't know what team I'm getting week to week with the Buffalo Bills. They
Do you
definitely
know
need
what
a
you're getting with the Bucks, though?
no, but I think what I'm getting with the Bucs is at least a more consistent quarterback with Baker Mayfield. He hasn't had like a bad game this season. Josh Allen last week, that was a bad game, not just by his standards, by like quarterback standards. That's the worst game he's maybe played in as long as you can remember, just from the turnovers alone. And again, he is very much like Herbert, where he will dig his teams into holes and then kind of bring his team back. And you'll look at the numbers afterwards and you'll be like, wow, Josh Allen had a really good game. And then it's like, yeah, but the reason they were in that hole was because he was the one digging with the shovel. Like he just, again, the numbers on paper are great. When you watch him play, he just does not look good. So for that reason, I think I'm going with the Buccaneers. I just don't like anything I've seen with this Bills team. The Bucs, again, they played good last week, even in a loss. The Bills have not played good in wins or losses for the past month. So I'm going with the Buccaneers. You're going with the Bills. We might honestly have every one of these 4 games different. We might. Uh, that was the first marquee matchup. Then we go to the afternoon games where they have honestly one of these games should have been the Monday night game. Probably KC Denver should have been Monday
Right.
night. Maybe Seattle Rams, but that's the one we're talking about next. Seattle and the Rams, 7-2 Seahawks at 7-2 Rams. Who you got, Casino?
I want to go with the Seahawks, but I have to go with the Rams. The Seahawks were my pick to win this division, but the Rams are just too good. They're just too good, right? In my opinion, they are the best team in the league, and they should be the Super Bowl favorites as of right now. Obviously, that can change week to week. I have the Eagles right behind them, but Seattle is there. I know we talked about last week. We're like, oh, could you see Sam Darnold holding up that trophy at the end of the year? You said no. I said yes, because this defense is really good. Sam Darnold, he can still throw the ball. Yes, we know that him getting pressured is an issue, but that can be coached, right? That can be coached. I haven't seen a whole lot of that this year. So I like when it was with the Vikings, it was clear as day, clear as day.
Yeah.
So yes, you've seen it a little bit here, but over in Seattle, but not as much. I'm going with the Rams. It's a good game here. It opened at 2.5. Rams are at -3.5 now. So, really supposed to be a close game. That's kind of just a home field advantage kind of situation. This is the best game of the year, in my opinion, as of to date.
I don't even best game of the year. I don't even know if this is the best game this week. I don't know
What?
if yeah, I'm much more. I think I'm looking forward to
What are you talking, dude? It's seven. No, come on. They're both 7-2. Pretty much who wins this is going
yeah,
to
I'm not
have the
saying it's a
chair shot to
bad
the
game.
division. Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just don't think it's like number one best game of the week. I think Eagles, Lions, and Chiefs, Broncos have as good a shot as being better than this one. But I do think, well, that's not saying I'm not going to watch this game. Obviously, I'm watching this game over Kansas City, Denver. But I think I might have them. at the same time. You don't need red zone this week. There's no games in the morning worth watching more than Bucs Bills. Like, just put that game on. There's no other games unless you're a fan of those teams. Same with the afternoon games. Like, you were going to watch Ravens, Browns, or Texans, Titans over Rams, Seattle, and KC, Denver. Like, no way. But is this your pick for best game of the week?
Yes, it is by far.
So this is for best game of the week. I think I'm still going Eagles Lions. I think will be best game of the week, but in this game, you're right. It really comes down to, see, the thing that's thrown me off about Seattle is Sam Darnold had an abysmal game last week. He had 2 lost fumbles, he had an interception again against a Cardinals team nobody thinks is any good, and they still won that game by 3 touchdowns. So that proved to me right there, Sam Darnold does not have to carry this team on his back to for this team to be good. That defense is good. I think people are overblowing how good they are. Ninth in the league in total defense. So they're the ninth best defense in the league. That people are talking about this defense like they're the 85 Bears. Their defense is good, but again, there's ones in the league right now that are potentially elite. The Seahawks is not one of them. The Seahawks defense is good. It's not this juggernaut that people
Yeah.
are saying it
It's
is.
not the old Legion of Boom that used to be there.
Yeah, and Darnold again, 71% completion percentage, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions is a good season. Stafford is having the MVP season with 25 touchdowns, 2
But he's
interceptions.
not. That's, Drake May.
He's never looked better. I think this will be a good game. I think this will potentially be a great game, like we're talking about. But I just think Rams pull it out again. Even in a shootout, I would trust the Rams more than the Seahawks. If it's a defensive battle, I think it's Seahawks all day, but I don't think they have enough defensively to stop Stafford. So I'm going Rams. You're going Rams as well.
Yeah.
And then the other game that is on the afternoon, 125 West Coast time. Kansas City Chiefs, 5-4, travel to 8-2 Denver Broncos. Chiefs coming off a bye. Who you
I
got,
I
Casino?
know I could have made this my upset pick of the week, but I was going to go big or go home. That's why I went with the latter. But I am still going to go Denver Broncos in this game. I know the Chiefs are hot right now, but the Broncos are getting it done somehow, some way. They're 8-2, right? Bo Nix has digressed this year. That sophomore slump that you always talk about has happened. But guess what? They're still 8-2. They are well coached. They're getting it figured out. That defense is really good. And yes, I know Kansas City, almost all their draft picks have hit. It's a very well coached team, if not one of the best coached teams in the league. Mahomes is, that quarterback, that generational quarterback that everybody wants and hopes they get. But I have to go with the Denver Broncos here, not just because I picked them to win the division, but I do think the Denver Broncos look what they did last year. With that team was so much better last year, right? The Kansas City Chiefs. And Denver took it to them. Yes, the one where Kansas City took all their players out, but then the other one came down to that field goal that somehow got fucking I still think that was a setup. But the Broncos are better than they were last year, in my opinion, right? And I know the record says there, but let's take records aside. I think the Broncos are better than they were last year. I know even with Bo Nix digressing, I still think this team is better because they are still able to figure out ways to win. If Bo Nix was having this season that he's having now that he had last year, or if he had the season he's having now last year, that team would not have been that good. But they are figuring it out this year. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they have flopped. So I am going with the Broncos in this one. And this would have been my upset pick of the week, but I went with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, this is like that scene in Austin Powers where the guy's standing in front of the steamroller and Austin Powers is telling him to get out of the way. And then it cuts to a wide shot and we slowly see it coming towards him and he's just standing in the way of it screaming. That is all of us fans are standing in the middle of the road at the steamroller screaming at it to stop, and the steamroller is the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's inevitable that with the loss to the Jaguars, it was like, oh, well, all the Jaguars have to do is just win a couple more games and knock the Chiefs out. And then the Jaguars are just like, now we're not going to do that. We're just going to start losing games in the dumbest way possible. The Chiefs, I don't think, are a good team. I don't think Mahomes is having nearly as great of a season as people apparently think he is. Think he is enough to put him at the top of the MVP ballot up until a week ago, which is crazy to me. But they're third in their division. What they need to do to get into the playoffs is just get that last playoff spot. Right now, again, we've talked about it enough on this podcast where there's three teams they need to be above. The Broncos, they don't even need to win their division when it comes to the Chiefs just to get in, because when they get in, nobody wants to play the Chiefs in the playoffs. Andy Reid off a bye is almost automatic. I haven't liked anything I've seen with this Broncos team in a while now, especially when you watch that Thursday night game against the Raiders and you're like, this is rough. Then they have that 18-15 ugly game against the Texans. So Bo Nix, again, we talk about Jalen Hurts and Drake May being the best deep ball passers in the league. Bo Nix is the worst deep ball passer in the league, and I don't think it's even close. He overthrows everybody downfield by minimum 10 yards. It's brutal, and he does it a lot per game. I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs casino over the Broncos, and then be prepared for Monday night or for Monday morning sports talk shows to just say, have the opening topic be, are the Chiefs the best team in the league? And everybody on the panel say yes. It's coming. We're the guys standing in front of the steamroller in Austin Powers. It's inevitable. The Chiefs are driving that steamroller and they're going to squish us on their way to probably another Super Bowl that everybody will hate. Uh and God, can you just wait for all those documentaries about where they start just going, you know, we were 0-2 and they wrote us off. And we took that personally. It's gonna be so annoying. It's gonna be so annoying. Uh but can you just not wait? Sunday night
I will stop watching football, man.
Sunday night football. My pick for game of the week, my pick for best game of the week.
Homer.
Yeah, but it's also 6-3 and 7.
Homer.
Oh, okay. Drake May should be MVP. Okay.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
everybody's saying it, and he has the best odds. So I am just going off of what I am seeing and what I'm saying. Just saying. Just
well, I'm
saying.
just going off of what the NFL thought should be the Sunday night football when they had three other marquee matchups, Casino.
Yeah, well, they
It
had that already
should have
locked a
been
long time ago. That was already locked a long
not
time
true.
ago.
Not true. They can flex it.
Did they
But
though?
why they didn't? Because this is the best game. Why would they flex this? And why would they flex what should have been the NFC Championship last year? The Detroit Lions this year, 6-3 at 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles. I'll ask the simple question, Casino. Who, oop, who you got?
I was gonna say Eagles, but now I just want to say Detroit to piss you off.
Well, we're both picking Detroit.
No, I'm
So
picking the Eagles.
yeah. Go ahead, make the case.
I mean, they were able to pick up, at the trade deadline that other linebacker, and
Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips. Thank you, I forgot his name. And that is huge, right? It doesn't seem like one guy can make that big of an impact. He's gonna make that big of an impact. He is that good of a player.
He made it
So
in one game. He
yeah,
was all over the field on Monday night.
yeah. So yeah. Oh, and just came through. Ramondre Stevenson and Keyshawn Booty and Christian Ellis and Hooper are all out for the game against the Jets. Never mind. So that whole thing, I still have the Patriots beating the Jets. But anyway, um, good. Take the rest. Take the longer, much needed rest. Feel healthy. Come back and win the game. Win 2 weeks from now. But yeah, no, I going with the Eagles. They're too good. Like I said, they're right behind the Rams for the best team in the league right now. And I know you probably say the Eagles are the best team in the league right now, but I got to see them prove it now after they picked him up, and I need to see them go on a little bit of a stretch. But the Rams and Stafford just look great, and I know Jalen Hurts looks great, but it's very close. Like those
Yeah,
two
no.
teams, those two teams, I have it right there. Rams, Eagles. Um,
Well, I mean, who's the better team, the Eagles or the Rams? Let's see. When do they play each other? When do they play each other this year? Oh, yeah, that already happened, and the Eagles beat them. And then you know what? They played them last year 3 times or 2 times, I'm sorry, and beat them both times. And then the year before that, they played them and beat them. It's almost like the Rams are always the best team, and everybody always picks them against the Eagles until they play against the Eagles and then lose. So, yeah, when the Rams Eagles play again in the playoffs and everybody picks the Rams and then are shocked when they lose to the Eagles, that'll be a day.
okay,
That'll be
I picked
great.
the Eagles. That's it. I picked the Eagles to win this game.
Well, wait, but did the Rams didn't lose in a horribly embarrassing way, right? Where they like gave up like 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, something like that. I mean, that would be embarrassing with how much shit they talked in the offseason. I guess we'll wait and see when
That
they
game
play this
ended
year.
33-26, bud, in week 3. We've talked about it. You and I have said it doesn't matter. That first week doesn't the first 5 weeks don't matter, you
Yeah,
know?
how about the previous 9 times they've played where the Eagles have won every one of them? Do those matter? Do those matter? How the
We're not
Rams
even
can't beat the
playing
Eagles?
them right now.
I know, but everybody just goes, I see it online. You just parroted it, where it's that thing where it's like, well, the Eagles aren't the best team in the league. I mean, the Rams. Wait till they see the Rams. They can't stop seeing the Rams and destroying them. They
Okay,
can't
but
stop
when
it.
it happens again in the NFC
Yeah.
championship game, okay, guess what? The Rams, they suck. The Eagles are better. We'll figure it out then.
Yeah, but that's not going to be the discussion. The discussion is going to be everyone's going to pick the Rams, and then it's going to be like, oh, well, the Rams are clearly the better team, despite every time the Rams and Eagles play each other. But we're not talking about Rams and Eagles. We're talking about Lions Eagles. And I'm at this point right now where everyone hating the Eagles just fuels me. It just makes it's like it makes me younger. If started this season to now, I've de-aged by 10 years because it's like a warm salve that I just put on my face and it
And
just
we've
feels so
all
good.
aged 10 years.
Yeah. Uh, what's so funny is that Monday night football game, first tush push of the game happens with the Packers. They jump off sides in one of the most egregious ways you're ever going to see. Refs don't call it. Next tush push, Eagles jump off sides. Everyone on the internet is like, this is why we got to ban the tush push. This is why we got to ban the tush push. It's like the tush push is not a what is it? Is not because the Eagles. The tush push does not get called because the refs are incompetent. We all know this. We bitch about the refs every week. So push that to the side. Now, when it comes to this game specifically, the Lions have spent all offseason. I think there is even a interview with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think so. At the locker, at where the teams do their like end of the season press conferences, where they said if they were in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, they would have destroyed them. I mean, I don't know why they think that when they got destroyed by a Commanders team that at this point is 3-7, but who knows? So for the Lions, they've spent an entire offseason talking about how they would have went to the Super Bowl if they would have played the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. The Eagles all season, all they've done is played everybody's Super Bowl because everybody's team, every game the Eagles play is the other team's Super Bowl. This is the Lions Super Bowl. So that's why I'm picking the Lions. This is their Super Bowl. They should win. Last week was the Packers Super Bowl because the Packers claimed they were the best team in the NFC. Bucs beat the Eagles all the time. They had their Super Bowl against the Eagles. The Rams, everybody was saying should have beat the Eagles in the playoffs last week. We just recapped what happened there. So this should be an easy layup. This should be a blowout. The Lions should destroy them in Philadelphia. But again, Casino, as I said in the playoffs, or as I said in the playoffs, as I said in the TikTok, everybody always expect the Eagles to play the game the opponent wants to play. And then you find out, like on Monday night, where it's just like, oh no, you're going to have to play this down dirty in the trenches football. We're going to make you very uncomfortable. What is it? The defense has come back to life, especially with the addition of Jalen Phillips and Brandon Graham. The Jari Alexander thing is weird. Have you seen that story?
No, I haven't.
So he got traded from the Ravens to the Eagles at the trade deadline, and then he came out and said he was taking some time away from football to get his physical and mental health in shape after the trade had already happened. So that's the second guy to do that for the Eagles this year that they've traded for or signed. That's weird. That's weird. And then AJ Brown again, I agree with what you said on the TikTok where it's like AJ Brown kind of is the least important person on this team
Well, did
that
you see
everybody
what
talks.
happened that he was playing a video game?
That's
He
what I'm
was
bringing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was on some guy's stream last night, and the guy asked AJ Brown, everything good? AJ Brown replied, and I quote, no, where have you been? Family is good. Everything else, no, it's a shit show. Struggling, brother. If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me. Brown throws himself the ball in Madden. Let's show him some love. Good things happen when you get touches after scoring a touchdown with himself. This is the only positive I got. Brown shows his son his Madden stats for the game. This is the only highlights of damn football I'm living right now. So again,
Dude, he's such a diva.
dude, again, winning only matters when you're a part of the winning apparently because he said that weird thing after the Super Bowl where he said, "Oh, the Super Bowl didn't actually matter. I just like dominating people." But then when you watch him in the games, like it looks like every play he's just playing at half speed. It's really weird. There is not a again, I have a lot of friends of Eagles players and stuff like that. The AJ Brown love is kind of starting to turn the other way because when you watch games, Devontae Smith and Dallas Goddard are the two guys that when you need a play, like they always appear to be open at those right moments. Saquon Barkley also. AJ Brown, it's like even the announcers will be like, "Oh, where was AJ Brown on that play?" And they'll show him and it's just like he's doing a light jog off the line and then kind of like turning right. And then it's just like, oh, really? That didn't get him open? Like, yeah, no shit. Like, so nothing has soured me more than like him just putting that forth an effort this year and then bitching about not getting the ball. It's like, how are all these? You're an elite wide receiver. How are all these other elite wide receivers against every kind of coverage always open and you're just blanketed? It makes no sense. Even every great catch he has made this season has been with some guy draped all over him. It's like get a yard of separation and maybe you get the ball. I don't know. It's just it's weird. They didn't trade him at the also they didn't trade you at the trade deadline. What do you think is going to happen? It's either you sit on the bench or that's it. They're not cutting you. They would lose almost $100 million in dead cap. So what do you think is going to happen? The trade deadline is passed. That's it. Like that was your get out of jail free card and they didn't pull it. So I don't know. Uh all that being said, there's just a lot of drama around this team. The Lions should come in here and mollywop them, and I'm sure they will because that's the prediction for every Eagles game, and then we see what happens. So Lions all day, casino. Whew. And that
Good?
was the good, the bad, and the ugly for Week 11.
That's the good,
Any
the mid, the ugly.
oh, the good, the mid, and the ugly. That's right. Anything else to add, casino, before we get out of here?
No, but I gotta pee.
I do too. So on that note, this has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'll see you Friday with the power rankings, which also I need you to send me yours, Casino.
Again? Okay.
Power rankings again, just widely swing one way or the other
Dude,
every
it's
week.
nuts.
It's crazy.
Guess what? Guess who's not gonna be on my number 1?
Patriots. They're
Correct.
clearly, yeah. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. I'll see you Friday. Adios.